So welcome to JG's Fight Talk, sponsored by Cornerstone Boxing Academy. And with me now, Peter Jackson. But we're going to go with Pete. How you doing, Pete?
Yeah, only my mum calls me Peter. You off, Joel? Yeah.
Only if you've done something wrong, I'll call you Peter.
Yeah, okay, bud. Yeah.
How you doing, though, mate? You all right?
Joe, I'm at work and they've let me have half an hour to speak to you, being live in America. Yeah, all good, mate. Firstly, I want to thank you for this opportunity because I was saying to our meeting, my friend, as a smaller sort of boxer, we don't get a chance to talk about our careers the way the high flyers would. We got so many funny stories as well that what we've gone through, crazy. But I'm sharing a few with you tonight, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, definitely. But yeah, 16 fights, 9 wins, 1 draw, 5 winning streak to start with as well. You had a good career, mate. A lot of people turn around, and I take my hat off to every boxer I speak to, because I think to go through the ropes, you've got to have balls anyway. To be perfectly honest,
I think every lad's dream was to sort of be a boxer, or could there be a boxer to walk into the room to your music and have everyone look at you? It's a wonderful feeling, Joel. Watching the Rocky films. I mean, Tyson Fury said that watching Rocky inspired him, and we all did. And when I watched Rocky the once, I put a pair of socks on. I was only a kid, and me and my brother, and he hit me with his sock on. I'm thinking, what? That really hurts.
yeah.
The Rocky films, that don't look like they hurt, but that's when I realised how hard it was. But like I said, John, I never started boxing until I was 22 years of age.
Yeah.
And I'm very blessed, mate. I really am blessed at how far I got, the people I met, and it changed my life. Boxing gave me the confidence. Thank you to God, the Most High Yahweh, who made me the tough man I am, that gave me the ability to get my door license, where I met my wife, had my kids. So it's all from boxing,
Yeah. And it all started back on 28th of January 2001 against Harry Butler.
Yeah, 22 years ago in my life. And I do remember it quite. I watched Roddy's interview recently, and Roddy's one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet, and that's what good for. You'll never meet most respectable people when you've gone in the ring. You don't go to hurt each other. You go to do what you've trained to do and win that competition the best way you can. And as the ultimate, that person's trained as hard as you. And what I'd say, Joel, is when you see people in the ring who, they can't keep still, is because violence is imminent. They know death is there. And there's a chance. Can't keep still. That's what you're doing this. It's you train your body to come up against a man where you might die, and that's in the back of every boxer's head. Really, it really is. But go back to my debut, Harry Butler. I'd contacted Errol Johnson. I only had 13 amateur fights. Then I had a year off. I worked on the door, and I remember seeing a poster in a chip shop with Shane Derrick at Walsall Town Hall. Shane was a fabulous amateur, and he used to school me as an amateur, but I held my own with him. And when I saw him on the chip shop wall as a pro, I'm thinking, I'd love to get my face on. I'd love to be a pro boxer. I'm sure I could do it. I was tough. And then I saw other people turning pro. I thinking, well, I handled him easy in sparring. And I contacted Errol Johnson and, look, Errol, this is who I am. This is what I've done. He said, come down and see me. And I trained for 3 months with him in a little car lot down Tipton. There's me, Jimmy Gould, Jason Brewster, Stuart Elwell, Young Mutley, British champion, Stumpy Chinnock, Jossie Taylor. And it went from there. And within months, Errol said, you're good enough, Pete. I'm going to get you in with Harry Butler. And back then, Joel, you had no internet. There was nothing like that. You'd have to book the boxing news. You'd read the ratings. You'd go down. I went, Harry Butler, Errol, he's had 50 fights. He said, no, you'll be okay. And I was shocked. I'm confident in my ability. I know I'm tough. I know I'm quite strong, and I'll have a fight with anybody. But my life, and I went, no, Pete, trust me. He does enough just to. He comes to win, but he does enough to lose because he doesn't want to get stopped. It's his bread and butter.
Yeah.
And I remember the fight well. John Coyle refereed the fight, and it was a very intense 6-2s. But I was saying earlier to my friend, what people don't realise is, you look at my record, 6-2s win for the preparation before that fight and after the fight is like 6 months. People don't realise it's, afterwards, what it takes out here, and you just want to have a week off party, at that age. So yeah, sorry, mate, to waffle on, but I tend to that. But Harry Potter was a great experience for me, mate. It really was, and he really hurt me to the body. I'm thinking I've never been hit before to the body like I had by Kevin Bennett in my life, and every time he come to the body, I didn't know what to do. I was turning him. I just hit him with a big right hand and a left and evened it up. I remember cutting his eye a couple of times. And towards the end of the fight, I was gone. I'm thinking, I know I've done enough to win this fight. And it was a tear-up. And John left in my hand. And I think I won it by 1 point. And I really realised how tough the professional game was then. You can box like an amateur champion for 4 rounds, but you've got to dig deep. When that fighter puts you in the corner, you can't. Your cornerman's there, everybody else, it's you that's doing it.
Yeah.
You bite down that gun shield and you hit hard.
So how did you? I know it's a mad question, but how did you feel, Pete? You've won your debut. You're on top of the world, aren't you?
Well, I was always a good ticket seller, Joel. I consider myself a nice-natured sort of guy, and I used to have a big following. Yeah, I remember I went back to Blackheath to Bow Jollies, and I was a local hero. That they did me champagne, and we filled the place. It was a wonderful feeling.
Yeah.
That I won my first professional. So I got into the British ratings. I'm like, wow. I showed my dad, and I was back to 45. But what I was in the British ratings, and that is so.
It's a dream, isn't it?
Oh, it is, mate. Yeah, it is.
So we shoot forward to the 2nd of the 11th, 2002, with your first scrap with Mike Duffield, which was, yeah, it was one of those, wasn't it? Well, second scrap.
Right, okay. So I beat him on points. Errol had got me, Mike. And I remember he was an Ingle fighter, and he was told, "Oh, thanks, Errol. I'm going to have a right game. We talk with you." But I looked at his record, and Mike was a journeyman. But being a journeyman, I'm telling you now, Joel, it doesn't mean these are hard men that can win if they want.
Yeah.
They choose to lose so they can fight next week and earn more money. Howard Clark, look at him. Fought Vargas world title, become a journeyman. If they want to win, they'll win. But, you've got to train hard to do the job to beat that person they put in front of you. That's something you can't choose, So I'm getting there thinking, Errol, I don't want a tall fighter, but he got me anyway. I sold a load of tickets. First fight, I beat him quite comfortably.
Yeah.
And then Errol said, I've got you the Midland title fight. I'm like, who against? And he said, Duffield. I said, well, just beat him. He said, well, they've authorised it. Now, inside, Joel, I'm thinking, well, if I want to win a Midland title, I want to do it properly, but I don't want to refuse it. I might not get another chance. So I'd never gone beyond 6 4-3s, and it was 10-3. So it was a massive learning curve for me. And I sold a Rooker ticket on a Saturday night at the Light Bar, Wolverhampton. And I still thought I'd beat Mike, but looking back now, I didn't do enough. And he did beat me on the scores of boxing, tip, tap, and move. And after the fight...
Did you think, though, Pete, you'd beat him once?
I was too confident, yeah.
Yeah. Did you go into it thinking, I got this, I've beaten him once?
Yeah.
Just got to do the same again.
What I did, Joel, because you're always learning in boxing. I learned now on the bag of Southpaw now, but 46. But I remember, when I went to the weigh-in, I had a bit of a cocky attitude because he come late. He tried to shout man, and I sort of give him all right. I didn't know how to play it. I'd never been like that before. But what do I do? And it sort of backfired on me because he beat me. So we got the rematch, and I remember we went to the weigh-in. It was over Nottingham way somewhere. I don't know why it was, but my dad bought me a plate of pasta after. And when I saw it, hello, Mike, you're right, pal. Nice to meet you. Yeah, congratulations. And it worked. So when I trained really hard for the rematch, and I did give him a good ID in the Bescott Stadium, and John Coyle refereed that.
98, 92, Pete.
Yeah, because I cut Mike's eyes. I really gave him a good ID, and I thought the ref would have stopped it. It was about the 8th round. He was struggling. And I said to John Coyle after, John, why don't you stop? He said, I don't stop fighters unless I really have to, Pete, because you're taking away their dignity and their livelihood. And I thought, yeah, okay, fair enough. But so I became the Midland champion. It was a great feeling because my dad's passed away now, but I made my dad proud. I made my brothers proud, and it was a great night, really good night, mate. So again, I would have liked to, but then again, I'm doing myself in there, Joel. Really, I did. I beat a guy who already beat me to get it back. So I think that's fair enough. Yeah.
We got hello both from Alex Mason.
Alex Mason, local legend. Yeah, looked up to him.
Yeah. I put it in the group, and he was like, "All right, yeah, I'll jump in there."
Yeah, I used to go to the Molyneux, the Waggies bar, every Saturday night and get smashed out of my face, right? And Alex Mason was a doorman there, and they used to put him on the microphone. They just put it, Alex is fighting in Spain. And I used to think, I'd love to be a professional boxer, and then I used to watch Alex's record and stuff, and then I know he fought David Starr, and I thought, wow, and he won the Midland Superweight title, which I did after, so. And now I'm good friends with Alex. It's lovely that boxing can do that, can bring people together.
Yeah.
Really can.
Definitely.
You stay friends for life.
And then we jump on to the 19th of February 2005, where you went against the tough Jim Rock for the BUI Island National Super Middleweight title. Wasn't your night that night, but a tough one.
Yeah, I mean, there's always, boxers will tell you, there's always a story before every fight, whether you win or lose. And the funny thing is with the Jim Rock fight, my dad was a proud Irishman. He used to have an island tattoo. And I used to hold his hand as a kid. He said, Daddy, why have you got an island tattoo when you're English? I could never understand. But when you meet Irish people, you see how patriotic they are. They're lovely people.
Yeah.
I've got family there now. And so I really wanted to fight for the Irish as well to make my dad proud. And I'd gone out in Dublin about 6 months prior, and I'll keep it short. I met a beautiful girl in a nightclub. And I got chatting to this girl. And she went, "Oh, you're from England?" I said, so we went up to this. She was, I think, she's gorgeous. So we got talking. And I'd always been watching Jim Rock, his record and who he fought. And although Jim, he's not a flash fighter and a massive hitter, he does a very good job of what he does. He deceives people. He's a very good boxer. And we got up speaking, and about all the girls in Dublin that night, she said, "So what do you do with yourself? What do you do? You football and I said, "Well, I'm a boxer." She went, "Oh, what do you think of your man Takaloo?" I went, "Yeah, tough world champion. He's after knocking out my brother." I'm like, "It's your brother, Jim Rock?" Yeah, I couldn't believe it. So me and Hayley hit it off, and we back then, Joel, I was a stupid idiot. I had a girlfriend back home, and I was just a player. And me and Hayley exchanged numbers, and one thing led to another. And then I just blanked her because my missus found out. I mean, that was the old me. I'm not that, obviously. And months later, I got the call. I was in a loft hatch in Bideford, Devon, as an electrician's mate. And my old Nokia 3210 phone rang. And everyone said, "It's pitch black." He says, "Jack, I've got you the Irish title fight." So I jumped down this loft hatch. I said to the woman, "Right, love, can I just jump on your scale?" She went, "Yeah, no problem." 13 stone 4. I hadn't been training. So Errol said, "Right, it's 12 stone, super middleweight. You've got just under 6 weeks." You get 12 stone from 13 stone 4. I said, "How much?" And he said, like £2,000, which weren't the greatest money back then. Now, what the boxers will tell you, when you get offered a purse, you go car insurance, holiday, this. So you already spend the wage in your head. You can't afford to not take it. So I said, "Yeah, I'll take it." Now, how I trained for that fight was crazy because I'd finish my day shift in Bideford and I'd get the Sparkies to hold the pads. And they were like this. I got one to hold my hands and you batter my belly. Then they'd drop me 5 miles in the country. Bideford's rural, there's no lights. And it was that dark. I had to shut my eyes at first to get used to with no lights, and I'd run back to the bed and breakfast. I'd go back on a weekend and spar Stuart Elwell, who was a southpaw. I thought Jim Rock was southpaw. Found out a week before he wasn't. So, yeah, that's how I trained for that fight. Now, and then I got an email off Hayley. He says, "I hear you're fighting the brother." This is the girl I met, his sister. "I hope you're training hard." I'm like, "Shit, I'm in trouble now. I've upset the whole family." And I'm going
you've done it, mate.
To do it.
You've done it. There's a reason to batter you.
Yeah, I'd got, just quickly, Joel, I flew over. They said, every pound you're over, you lose £100 off your purse. On the Friday, we flew over, me, Errol and Bob, and my dream was coming true. I was fighting, I wasn't abroad, but I was going to Ireland. I had my bag. I was going to fight for a title on TV. Errol and Bob were eating bacon baguettes and cups of tea. I had a cup of ice cubes on the plane. You could have pressed my belly in like that. It was that thin. I was 12 stone. I still had to lose £3 by that afternoon. these are stories you probably won't hear. You wouldn't advise them anyway. And we Dublin Airport. There was 2 girls standing there with my name. I'm like, oh, this is ace. I'm living the dream. We got in this car, took us to the Burlington Hotel. Brian Peters said, right, the weighing's been put back. I'm like, oh, man. So Errol said, go to bed. Put me in the room. I got up and I needed a pillow. I'm like, yes. I was pushing my bladder in just to make myself urinate even more. Obviously, I'd gone to the toilet, come back, and I piddled out. I knew about a mug of urine, for example. I thought, I've got to be bouncing that weight now. So we weighed in at 4 o'clock, and I got on the scales, and the Daily Mirror backdrops were there, and the photographers, because Bernard Dunn was the main event. And they said, and the challenger, Peter Jackson from England. And I got up with my briefs on and gone like this. Come on. 11 stone, 8 3/4. I went, come on! Now, they were thinking, oh, he's well up for this fight. I wasn't. I just made the weight. I was really happy. So, big mistake I made. Brian Peters gave me a pass and sent me downstairs to the carvery. Errol I shouldn't really drop out. Errol's a good friend of mine. Errol and Bob buggered out on the pop on Temple Bar and left me. I ate pork, beef, cordial, coffee. I bloated myself. I had to go to bed. Then I'm sitting on the bed watching Sky Movies. 3 hours later, eating a king-size bag of Maltesers and a can of Coke. I was clueless, Joel. Absolutely clueless back then. This was a long time ago. And I weighed in the next day, 12 and a half stone. So I put like nearly a stone, nearly 3/4 of a stone on the food. Yeah, I mean,
that's a serious buffet, Pete. That's a serious buffet, mate.
I remember coming into the ring, or coming to U2's Vertigo, and Steve Collins come in and tapped me on the shoulder, and it was a great experience for me, fighting Dublin's National Stadium on TV. And then Jim's come in to the Pink Panther. I'm thinking, oh man, trying to keep a normal face, like, and yeah, I mean, my first experience, Joel, take nothing away from Jim Rock. He's a very good friend of mine now. I remember getting in, and Jim, the reason they wanted me down in weight is because Jim's naturally an 11 stone fighter. When I got in the ring, I remember looking up and seeing this big blonde hair, massive shoulders, and like, he was like Dolph Lundgren off Rocky IV. And Jim beat me fair and square that night. He dropped me in the third. I was more off balance, and he tried to stop me, but I was very tough. And 5th and 6th round, again, take nothing away from Jim Rock. Jim's an excellent fighter, and he stopped me that night. I was sort of retired, but I really wish I'd have had more time to prepare. That was my own fault. But it was an honour to share the ring with such a wonderful athlete, and I'm good friends with Jim now. Yeah. And after the fight, like Steve Collins come up to me, and the commentator said, Jackson looks exhausted. I could breathe, but I just had no energy. I couldn't even pick my hands up. And
that's all that gammon and beef, Pete.
Yeah, and Coca-Cola. Yeah.
But blimey. And then we whiz forward to the 22nd of April 2005, which was your last fight against Ryan Rhodes. Did you know prior to that fight that was going to be the last fight?
I think in my head, Joe, yeah, because I was clueless back then. After a fight, I'd go missing for a month, just clubbing and whatever. I was young, stupid, like, and I wish now, oh man, if I could turn back time, we all say, I'd have done it all different. I mean, Ronnie Brown was a very good trainer. He had Mark Elliott, Sean Cooper, Lyndon Scarlett, and Ronnie Brown used to say to me, Peter, if I'd have had you, you'd have been light middleweight and British champion. You had some art, you didn't. I do believe, Joel, that I'd have been a different standard. I really do believe, but we can't turn back time, and I think
hindsight's a wonderful thing, isn't it?
Yeah, to achieve what I did in the space I did after starting at 22, to get into the top 15 ranked in Britain, fight for a national title, win a Midland title, was a wonderful achievement, and he's got me, so many wonderful friends today, and respect on today because of it doing this wonderful interview, so.
No, and as I say, it is you guys that don't get the full credit. We all see the fighters up there that have reached the peak of the world status and this sort of thing. But to me, it's the domestic fights. It's those guys that were fought tooth and nail. They had the stories. They they had the lifestyle. But they wanted more. And Pete, I'll take my hat off to you, mate. You're a tough guy, and a lot of people speak highly of you. And I think that speaks for itself, doesn't it?
It does, mate. It does. It does. But just, have I got time for one last story, Joe?
Yeah, of course, mate. Of course.
I was just saying earlier, when it was an honour for me to share the ring with Ryan at Bethnal Green. I'm thinking, wow, just to box at Bethnal Green and share the ring with that's knocked out world champions. I knew I was tough, Joe, and I knew if I could get through the fight, I'd win a lot of respect. And I've gone 12 rounds total with Ryan Rhodes, who then went 12 rounds with Canelo. So that proved to me the caliber of the person who I could get in with. So I'm thinking that'll do me. I'm happy with that one. But when I went to Bethnal Green, anybody who's boxed there will tell you. I was telling Jimmy Gould, Jimmy's had 100 amateur fights. He's boxed there. I think he went the ABA semis. I got there and we were stuck on the M25 for 3 hours, me and Errol. And I got out and warmed up on the motorway, literally limbered up. When we got into Bethnal Green, it was BBC One, and Keith Jones was boxing Lenny Dawes at the time. I jumped on the scales. Literally, I'd been there 20 minutes, Joe. I'm telling you now. Charles Shepherd's trainer was next to me. He got my shorts on as Errol was doing my bandages. I hit the pads for about 30 seconds, and the whip opened the door. Errol, I said, Errol, you Jason? Come on. I walked down these stairs into Bethnal Green swimming baths, and I'm walking along the baths. These kids are going, all right, mate. I've got my gumshoe and thinking, I can't believe this. I've then walked into this alcove, and it's pitch black. Everyone just hang on there. Doors open. There's a spotlight on me. And I'm walking into the ring at Bethnal Green. I'd just been trapped 3 hours on the motorway. Britain's best boxers. And I really enjoyed that. I'll give Ryan a good fight that night. But, yeah, he schooled me. It was like Luton Town versus Liverpool, I suppose. But, yeah.
But a question I will ask you, Pete, and I ask people, if you were fighting now, at your peak, who would you like to fight now? Looking at the current crop of fighters out there, is there someone that you think I'd love a good dust up with them?
So to be honest, John, I don't really follow it much anymore. I'll watch the big fights. I did get offered £5,000 to defend my Midland title against Carl Froch. Now I took the fights, and Dave Bradley went, nah. Dave Bradley he did look after you, and I wish that I fought Carl Froch now, because I fought some good amateurs and held my own with them, as well. I used to spar Ian Cooper, ABA champion in Hartlepool, and I sparred 10 rounds with Neil Fannin, who's there. Neil's a wonderful trainer. Said some wonderful words of wisdom to me, which helped me. So he said to me when I got stopped against Simeon Cova, Neil said, "You only beat if you say you beat." I didn't understand at the time, but he's right. It's only you. They can write you off, but look how many fighters come back. I think another one is you're only as that show. Like Errol got me Harry Butler. You look at his record. Errol's had loads, but he's only as good as his last fight. If you watch his last fight,
definitely.
You know what I mean, Joel? It's the way it is. But to answer your question, I mean, today you've got a wonderful array of boxers from our area, like Jason Wellborn, Lennox Clark. I was outside a pub with a girl, and Lennox Clark had a couple of white collar walk past me. All right, Pete, shook my hand. He knew I was Midland champion. And look what Lennox has gone on to achieve. Absolutely amazing. But I mean, I don't think I've got an answer to that question. There's no one around today I want to fight. But what I'd like to have done, Joel, go back. I'd like to fight anybody coming through, because you get more respect for that and you learn more, and you look at how when you've been in with the caliber and fighters, you get more respect for that rather than winning something, sharing the ring with these legends.
No, definitely. Well, Peter, I think you're an absolute star, mate. And, the knowledge you've learned from the sport and what you've been through, you can only pass on to others. You've found your faith as well, which is important to you. And
Joel would probably be in prison or dead if I didn't have my faith in the most high God. Yahusha, I'd be. He's my seatbelt, mate. I get to give in to anger. Like I answer to him, and he's everything to me. I'd die for my creator, mate. And it's not easy in this fall. I think we'll all agree to dark fallen world now with what we've seen, But I've got 3 beautiful daughters, Lacey, Lola, and Bo. I'm going to be seeing them soon. I've had a bit of a setback with my ex, but if my daughter Lola's not a world champion, I don't know who will be. She's amazing because her mum's got a bit of an say no more, but
be careful, Pete. Be careful.
She's not scared to throw a punch.
What I will say is Alex has jumped in and he's put, "You'd win a world champion. You'd be a world champion for talking, Pete."
I was just about to say I'm talking too much here.
Not at all, mate. Honestly, at the end of this is we've been chatting for over a week now on and on, and it's been an absolute pleasure, honestly, talking to you, Pete, and getting to know you, and hopefully we can stay in touch.
Absolutely.
And get you on a channel for some other. We've just started doing a new series on this channel as well called Fantasy Fights, where we look at fights that should have happened. And we've got one coming up: Carl Froch versus Joe Kawasaki. Those sort of fights.
Why on earth didn't Junior Witter and Ricky Hatton happen? That's another one.
Well, hopefully we shall see. Hopefully have a chat with Junior at one point.
Or Alex Mason versus Pete Jackson.
Well, we know he'd win that one, don't we, Pete?
Yeah, let's not tell him. Right?
But honestly, Pete, thank you very much for coming on.
We don't get a chance to talk, so it's been an honour today, mate. I really appreciate it, bro. Thanks.
No problem at all. And as I say, stay in touch, and we'll have you back on again soon. Even if it's against, we'll chat to Adam Mason and see how it would have gone.
Yeah.
But no, Pete, thank you very much for coming on, and I'll see you soon, mate.
Yeah, bless. Cheers, buddy. Thanks, Joe.
God bless, mate. Take care.
Are you ready?